was talking about providing those experiences. I'm finding that when we're evaluating new students for special education services or eligibility for special education services, we have to determine whether it's lack of exposure to to toys, to games, to curriculum, and that's kind of a hard thing to decipher, is whether it's just lack of exposure, because a lot of our parents don't have the ability to take our kids, out into the community and do certain, go to the zoo and provide those sorts of experiences, and provide reading material for their kids, or even interactive games and toys that create early academic experiences. So that's hard as a special education teacher, just trying to determine which is it lack of exposure or a developmental issue. I think, no parent wants to have to face, the fact that their child may need special education services. I think there is a stigma that creates a mistrust, but I think, there has to be some positive conversations that go on in relationships between the parent and the teacher, and, but also providing, more advertisement for our services and what we do and what we're able to offer, and showing and allowing the parents to even maybe come in and see what we're able to offer, because I think in the past, special education has had a very negative stigma, especially to parents now, and special education is very different from what it used to be, and we're leaning more towards integration of students with disabilities and regularly developing peers, and so I think we just need to get that out there. We need to make it a more positive conversation than a negative one. This is a new classroom for me. My background is actually in inclusion, specifically with 4th and 5th grade. And my classroom this year is a 3- and 4-year-old preschool, as well as a pre-K inclusion class. So basically, we look for children out in the community that are struggling, that their needs are not being met by maybe church programs or other community-based programs. And then the pre-K inclusion class is students who are a little bit more high-functioning, and they are in a classroom with their regularly developing peers. But I find that it's really hard for us to find the 3- and 4-year-olds for the preschool class. We have to kind of rely on Babies Can't Wait, but a lot of parents who are not aware of Babies Can't Wait, we have to rely on word of mouth. We have found kids through their pediatricians, but we've also found kids through, a friend of a friend told my friend that their child was having issues, and what do they do? And so we have to kind of create more advertisement, as I said, for our program, so we can find these kids and get early intervention services. Yeah, I think, it's really hard, trying to find that balance, because, we want to push and have high expectations for our kids, but, we also have to think about what is best for them. If it is best for them developmentally to repeat a grade or whatever that may be, that needs to be looked at, with the IEP team, with the parent, with the teacher, and determine what is best. And I think a lot of teachers are very wary of that.
One of the things that's really important for us is to get information to the parents and the teachers. Because of the population we serve, there's not a lot of information that's available, because it's such a new field of study. So we try to give parents information about outside resources, of how they can get shelter and clothing and all those other things. But we also want to hook them up with educational resources like Emory and some of the things that they actually have to drive to Atlanta for.
So do you think that getting to Atlanta for some of those things is a big problem?
It is a problem. It's a huge problem. And the waiting list for, say, one of the centers there is 3 to 4 months.
So if a kid has to wait, you know, several months to get an appointment that he or she may need, what can you do in the meantime to see that that child is getting the things that they need, maybe through school or...
One of the things that I really like about the Dalton system is that they work with Emory University, and we do a lot of Skyping. So this past week we finished up 3 months of Skyping with a language therapist. And so even though this specific child is not going to get to the center until the middle of summer, I already have a whole list of interventions that we've been working on. We have a small population of kids that we work with, and we try to do a lot of one-on-one in the areas that they're deficit in. And for our kids, it's usually social skills and language. So once we have worked with them long enough that they're very competent, or we feel that they're competent enough to be successful, then they go into a gen ed classroom that may be with a para, and for a short period of time, so that the whole time they're experiencing success. And we just keep increasing that until they're able to make it in the classroom on their own.
So why not just throw them in the classroom from the beginning without, you know, working on that stuff before?
When our kids are put in a gen ed classroom, or they come from a gen ed classroom where they've not had services, it's really hard to take out all of the negative influences that they've gotten from their teachers, from administration, from the other people they have interaction with, that has absolutely torn their self-esteem to pieces. And it's really sad because there's not an understanding that it's not their fault. Autistic kids and behavior disorder kids in the same classroom, which shouldn't work, but it's great. And we have pre-K through 3rd grade. So we try to get them out as much as possible and socialize as much as possible. We get to celebrate the smallest little things, and that's the best celebrations of all. So whether it's potty training or learning to use a spoon or anything, we try to make everything a celebration, and we try to bring joy and fun into everything we do.